y'all. How's it going? Let me see. Happy Monday. I guess I'm happy because it's my day off. And some of y'all have to be at work. Not me. Anyways, you guys. Um, wow. Happy new day of the week. Yeah, happy new day of the week. Y'all, I think that I am. I'm going to switch my podcast episodes to Mondays instead of Fridays. Uh, I feel a lot more better today in the sense of, so my days off are Sundays and Mondays from work. And so I just feel less tired. Uh, it's fitting better, basically, is what I'm saying to you guys. All right, you guys. So for those of you guys actually who follow me, I do want to say this to you guys. This week, if you guys follow me on my other social media platforms, you might have noticed that I did a video yesterday, Sunday. And this is why, you guys, I do my podcast episodes with a journal. Because when I don't journal, you guys, I am like all over the place, or I forget what I want to say, or I forget where I was at, or what else? What else? I repeat myself. I repeat myself. Anywho's, that is the real me. That's who I am. That's how I am. When I get into conversations or I start to talk, I just want to say so much, and I have a lot to say, and I just want to like just tell people like my story and what God has done in my life and the changes that I have made in my life. I'm just so excited because I never thought that I would get to this place of a changed person, and a person that has been slowly, one day at a time, restoring relationships that I broke or my anger broke, from my past. And so, sorry guys, there's like y'all, I have dogs, and I have a husky and a German shepherd, and yeah, hairs all over. So if you guys ever just see me doing stuff like this, doing this, it's because I feel like I have hairs all over myself. And I probably do. But anywho's, so yeah, so that's why, you guys, on my podcast episodes, I stick to a journal because this keeps me in track. Maybe it doesn't come out the greatest. And I know because I do go back and see my videos, my episodes, and I'm just like, oh man, Luna, that didn't sound good. Yeah. Nope, you could have done better. And it's like, and then I feel like when I'm doing my podcast episodes and I'm reading off of journal, that's the only downfall about this, you guys, I will say, is that I just feel like a different person because I don't let out a lot of, myself, but I mean, I do still get emotional because some of the stuff that I talk about on my episodes, you guys, it's just crazy how you know, it's still healing inside of me. So, but anyways, yeah, this is why I do my podcast episodes with a journal, which is what I'm doing today. Y'all, this is episode 8. 8, you guys, 8. But I will say this, that this episode has nothing. Yeah, has nothing to do with sorry guys. I have a shirt underneath that the tag is just really rubbing on my back. Um, it is not I think this would have been part 4. It's not part 4. Just want to let you guys know that this is a total separate episode. I felt in my heart to do this, and I'm just going to do it. So I will continue part 4 of my story next week. But I will say that what I'm about to share with you guys today still has to do with sharing my story, with the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys. So, but all right, you guys, let's get this started, shall we? Yeah. Okay. Let me just drink some coffee here first. So, all right, you guys. So I have named this episode the title of this episode is When the Pain Becomes a Pattern. And so I've been sharing so far the beginning of like my childhood, right? And then I just last week got into when I got married to my ex-husband, right? And having my children and stuff like that. And I just felt like I wanted to share this in between part 3 and part 4. Okay. But as always, you guys, I start with the Bible verse. And why I decided to start off with the Bible verse, you guys, is because I am grateful. Everything and anything that I am today is because of God. And so, why not start my podcast episodes with the Bible verse, just thanking God and then just hoping that the Holy Spirit and His love just surrounds me as I do this episode and surrounds whoever is listening to this episode or might have reached their heart, right? Or just tugged them or been like, wow, I'm glad that, y'all, there is a little hair just flying around. But anyways, so that's why I start with the Bible verse, just to have God be the center of everything that I'm doing. Okay. And this week for this episode, the Bible verse is Isaiah 61:3. To bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Luna Truth Healing Out Loud. I am your host, Luna. I know I'm going to get better at doing all this without the whole script, okay? But for now, it's on here. All right, you guys. So let's get this started. In today's episode, I actually want to open up about the heartbreaking truth of how abuse doesn't just hurt us, it can also shape us. Some of us choose to break the cycle, while others, like I once did in my past, I found myself stuck in it. I am sharing how being married to an abuser made me feel powerless and how that pain poured out in ways I deeply regret, especially towards my kids. This is my truth about who I became in the storm. I want to share with you guys what happens. Sorry, guys, my glasses today are just not working with me with my hair band. There we go. So today I want to share with you guys what happens when some of us are in the cycle of abuse, how it changes us, and how sometimes we don't even see that we are carrying on the very thing that once broke us. See, I feel that some people don't understand that abuse doesn't just hurt you, it can also rewire you, which I did not know that before, but now I do, especially when I look back at my life and all the things that happened to me and then the things that I chose to do. Um, and as I've shared what anger has done, it definitely just doesn't hurt you. It like rewires you completely. So, anyways, so you learn to survive by shrinking, by staying silent, by obeying, or exploding. And if you don't get it out and you stay long enough, and if you don't get out and you stay long enough, the pain becomes your norms. Some fight to break the cycle. And let me say this, very proud of you guys that were able to immediately break that cycle and immediately get yourself out of there. And if you had children, get your children out of there. And I want to say this too. At one point in my life, I did hold anger towards those people, even without me knowing them. But when I would hear their stories, how quick they broke that cycle, and the first minute that they felt abuse or abuse towards their children, they up and left and they didn't allow it. I was so angry, you guys, at those kind of people because I wanted to be like that and I just couldn't, and I couldn't figure out why. Why couldn't I have done that? Instead I stayed stuck. Stuck. So yes, I there was yeah, that also played huge as far as anger goes, you guys. Anyways, so some fight to break the cycle, but others, like I was, as I am sharing my story with all of y'all, we get stuck in it. And the truth is, when I was stuck, I didn't feel like myself anymore. I felt like a shadow of who I could have been. Depression, anxiety, regret, anger, fear starts to pile up. And you wonder or ask yourself, where did I go? What happened to me? And the famous question of all, why me? That why me, you guys, that one really, that did a lot of damage inside of me. And now I don't use the why me. And as I continue to share my story, but I will mention it right now, y'all are going to see how I changed my whys to what. So instead of saying why me, is what can I do? And so, but that why me, y'all, man, that one just, that did so much damage in my life, and it played a role in my anger, and it played a role in hurting people, hurting myself. Why me? Anyways, let's continue. Being raised by abusers and then being married to an abuser, I found myself unable to defend myself, not safely, not freely. So what did I do? I found a place where I could let it out. Mm, this one gets me. And the sad and still hurts me to this day is that that place was my kids. Yeah, that just stirs up so much inside of me, you guys, because as I sit here and say this, it just stirs up how I did like everything that I had and I was trying to escape. I did. I took it out on my kids. Wow. And I hate saying that, but it's the truth. I was so angry, but not at them. I was angry at my parents, at my stepdad, at other boys, at other men, at my husband, at myself, at my life. But it was my kids who saw that anger. And every time I lost my patience or raised my voice, I felt worse. I felt like a monster that I was trying to escape. And that guilt, y'all, is a different kind of prison. Um, I share this with you guys because it's something that, again, the Luna Truth Right Healing Out Loud, and this is still something that lingers inside of me. Um, that still tears my heart to know, that I, love my kids so much and I would do anything to protect them, but yet I was someone that was hurting them through taking it out on them and yelling, and just being angry. Um, and I share this and I'm vulnerable with you guys because that is the truth. And you'll hear my story as you continue. But this played a role in today having a broken relationship with some of my kids. Um some of them slowly are restoring, but it is something still that I'm healing from, and I'm just happy and thankful that God has allowed me to um to have another chance. But this one gets me, you guys, because again, it's still something that I'm healing from, but this is why I do this, right? So thank you guys for letting me heal with you guys as I'm doing this. I appreciate you guys so much. So, and honestly, I really hope that me sharing my story and being vulnerable, someone out there doesn't feel alone. So, but anyways, I'll continue. So, um, I do want to say this to anyone who is listening and feels what I just said. You are not beyond healing. You are not beyond change. And yeah, your kids did deserve better, but so did you. When I started to see how deep I had gotten into that pain, and the day I had that mental breakdown, that is when I asked God to help me. That is when I went to therapy. That is when I cried, when I prayed, and the day I decided to surrender myself. I also surrounded myself by strong people, people that helped me to overcome that pain. And through all those resources, I learned to make amends. And y'all, little by little, God helped me to stop trying to survive the pain and instead face it. I felt like sharing this episode today with you guys. Um, and pause my part. I think it's part 3 or 4. I can't remember. And stop my other part that I was supposed to do. I just felt, like I said at the beginning, I just felt in my heart to share this episode with you guys. So, um, I always say I'm gonna have my tissue box around here, and it's not here. I don't know where I left it. Anyways, you guys. So, as I said, um, whoever's hearing me right now, I want to tell you that you don't have to stay stuck. And I know it's easier said than done. Believe me, I know. You don't have to let the abuse define your love. You don't have to carry the guilt that God is ready to help you let go of it. You and I are not what was done to us. We are who we choose to become after it. And I will be truthful. It is really hard, really, really, really hard to overcome everything that I've just shared with you guys, breaking the cycle. Um, this episode here, like literally, I remember people telling me all this stuff, like, Luna, you just have to do this. Luna, you got to trust this. Luna, you got to be strong. And I'm just like, how? Because I want to, but I can't do it. So that's why I'm literally sharing with you guys. It's easier said than done. And it's really hard. Like, I still struggle. I'm still carrying with some of this stuff, and I still make mistakes, and I still sometimes um have those moments that I take it out on my kids. So it's a one step at a time type of growth and working on it. But I felt in my heart to share this episode with you guys today and take a pause on sharing my story because I've been in the last week or two surrounded by stories, hearing people share certain stories or hearing how people are talking or seeing what some people are going through that literally pertains to this. And I was just like, God, just help me just share and be a little bit vulnerable with my followers and on this episode to share how I was one of those people that I allowed my anger to take it out on my kids. I did. So and as I continue my story, you guys will hear more in depth of how that happened and how it took a toll on my kids and how yeah, I'm still working right now on um restoring some of my relationships with my kids, and some of my kids have restored that relationship with me, and I'm just grateful and thankful. But just know that you're not alone. I don't know who you are out there that is probably facing the same thing with the guilt, with the hurt that you cause to your children, to your loved ones, to yourself, to whoever. Um, God, God can help you through it um, with His love, uh, with His grace. Um, if you just give Him an opportunity, man, I've seen it. I've seen what He is doing. And yes, maybe I don't have my relationship restored with all my kids. Um, and but I know in my heart it's gonna happen. But I've seen some of the ones that were broken, and they're being restored. And so I see God's work. I see God's blessing. And so just know that you're not alone. I was a mom that hurt my kids through the anger that I had towards other people. And it's a hurt that I never wanted to do, never had the desire to do, but I did. And it did some damage. It did some hurt that now they are also dealing with, So, um, and I don't, if I can go back, I would have changed that. I would have changed that. But then again, I believe where I'm at now in life, I guess God allows us to go through certain things to be able to learn and grow, So, which I have. And I'm doing my very best every day, you guys, one day at a time. I still feel as a mom, and I know I'm going to feel as a mom to the day I die. But when I catch myself failing my kids again, or failing as a mom, or as a person, or as a person in a relationship, or whatever, I catch myself and I just go, okay, God, help me. I don't want to do this. And so we grow, you guys. We grow from our mistakes. And yes, I made those mistakes that I'm not proud of, but I have grown and I'm thankful now. I am. I'm thankful that I made those mistakes because those mistakes is what has created the person I am now, a better person than I was before. So, y'all, this is what I have for you guys today. And yeah, thank you guys for letting me share with you guys and just kind of breaking away from sharing my story. I'll come back to that, like I said, next week. All right, you guys. So for those of you who still haven't, please, please, please go like, go subscribe, go hit that reminder button, and don't forget to share if you want to share. But then that way, also, like I said, hit that reminder button so you guys don't miss an episode. And once again, I will be changing my podcast episodes to Mondays instead of Fridays. So, you guys, today is the new episode for Mondays, but not the new episode because it's episode 8. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. And I hope and pray that you guys have an amazing remaining of the week. And just remember that if you made a mistake, it's okay. If you wake up the next day and you're breathing, then learn from that mistake, grow from that mistake, and don't repeat it. Remember, a mistake is something you learn and you change. A mistake that is done over and over again is a choice. Y'all have a good day.